Our next company is Addictive Learning Technology Limited.
Hi everyone. I know you are all in food coma after eating all that great food, great basundi and everything. So tough job as a speaker up here. But okay, so when I was going to make this presentation, I had a key dilemma that do I make a presentation for people who are hearing about us for the first time, presumably, or people who are already following us and tracking us for a while. Because if I make it for the people who are hearing about us for the first time, then the people who are tracking us already will be bored, like ये तो भाई कुछ भी नहीं है, सब हमें पता ही है. And if I start doing a presentation for only for the people who already tracking us, then the new people will be ये क्या है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So it was a dilemma, yes. So I decided that at least people who are tracking us for a while, इनके लिए ही कुछ बोलते हैं तो बाकी लोग समझ लेंगे, smart लोग हैं. So we have basic thing is that we are an online courses company primarily, and a company which wants to basically we are in a space which is remote work. Remote work basically we train 70% of our learners are 30 plus year of age, and they are ambitious people and they want to earn more, grow their earning potentials, and we help them to learn how they can do remote work internationally or even migrate to other countries if the need, if the opportunity arises. So, teen brand we had started with Law Seco brand, which did very well, and then we launched. So you can understand it was only in law, and today, but only 30% of our revenue comes from this brand, which is Law Seco, which is in the legal space. Then we have a brand called Skill Arbitrage, and skill arbitrage is more like everything else other than law, but same playbook as Law Seco. So finance, marketing, HR, multiple different categories, and 70% of our revenue almost approximately comes from skill arbitrage. Skills After AI is a very, very new brand that we are launching to do it. Basically, we realize that both these brands have a limitation that they don't work very well in US, UK, Canadian markets, North America. So we decided that we will enter those markets, although we are already selling from skill arbitrage already there, but we want to launch a new brand called Skills After AI. The idea is that AI से लोगों की बहुत सारा upheavals होंगे, different skill sets will be required in the future, and that's what our brand focuses on. Okay, so statutory disclaimer, I'm sure you guys read very fast. So you have read it already, I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so I explained all these. Yeah, so Law Seco is legal courses for upskilling, some test prep also. So judiciary, bank, PO, this kind of all legal exams, we are doing very well, and we are the top online legal player in test prep. But upskilling is where most of our business comes from. And so I'll just jump on, I think I just explained this, so I can jump on. So, we did the IPO on January, the end of January this year, and it has been like 7 months since the IPO, right? And after that, we did a presentation at Tattvam Nivesh, so another event. And I guess all of you who follow us or investing in us or tracking us would have seen that presentation. What we said there, people wanted to know कि आपने अभी तो IPO कर लिया कि अगला क्या है? What is the future now, right? So what we had said basically is कि we foresee us in the next 18 to 36 months, 18 being like, aggressive situation, 18 months, 36 months being worst case, we see ourselves doing 20 crore revenue per month. At the time of the IPO, we were doing just before that 4.5 crore per month, 5 crore lagbhag per month we are doing revenue, and we said that we want to get to 20 crore per month revenue in 18 to 36 months. So where are we currently? We are, I mean these are like, I cannot say any unaudited financial numbers, but let's say by October we are looking at, we hope to do 10 crore revenue per month, right? So we are going to close the first half of the year now. September is the last month, right? Few days left. So generally we believe that the profits we did last year in the entire financial year, we will cross that in the first half itself. So that's how we are doing currently. Thank you, thank you. So, so it seems like the best case scenario that we had projected in the month of March. It seems like we are very close to that. Not exactly that, but almost around that. And basically, this is what we are looking at. Like this is it's very hard in our business. We cannot predict what will happen next quarter, next half yearly, but we live from our milestones are like this. Currently, like the previous slide, for example, what happened that you are at 5 crore, then we want to reach 10 crore, then we want to reach 20 crore. That's how we think. Okay, now we are at 5 crore, how do we get to 10 crore? And if we are at 10 crore, then how can we get to 20 crore? So that's what we have been thinking. So that's the update on the previous, what we thought, previous vision that we had shared, right? So what are the 3 things we have done well since the IPO now that we look back? Okay. So number 1 is that we successfully entered into a new category, which is science and technology graduates and basically people who are in those domains. We started with law, then we went into things like content marketing, then we did finance, then we did HR, and there we got a lot of success. People liked us in those categories. But when we tried to do, every time we'll try to launch something for engineering category or science category, people wouldn't buy us. Like they would, somehow there was a huge resistance. We understood that there was some big gap in our understanding of those markets or acceptability of our brand or whatever in that market. So we had done an acquisition just before the IPO. And good news is that after that, we have launched multiple categories in the same sector, one being patent analyst. That has done really well in that sector. Then we have launched a course where people who have 5-6 years of core engineering experience, mechanical, instrumentation, or electrical, this kind of core engineering area, we told them, okay, we'll run a course. If you want to migrate to Canada, you can get a much better salary, much better lifestyle. So would you be interested? A lot of people are interested. So we started a pilot course for that. That category is doing well. And our data science obviously is doing pretty well. We have been selling our data science course mostly outside of India, and it's doing really well. US, Canada, UK. So we can say that this is something that has done really well. At the time of IPO, more revenue used to come from Lawsico. And now much more revenue is coming from skill arbitrage. So skill arbitrage increased our TAM. Like now we have almost infinite TAM because itne sare, every category almost, we have so many categories we have launched successfully. So our market size and opportunity size has grown tremendously. And a lot of people were skeptical when we launched, like skill arbitrage, we launched 2023 January. So even before the IPO, people were asking us that, are you sure? It seems like you're Lawsico, you're a law company. How will you do other categories? How can you say you'll do well in finance also, marketing also, data science also? This seems like an overreach. But in reality, our fundamental belief was that the playbook that worked for us in law can be duplicated and replicated in many areas. And we accordingly did that, and it worked out beautifully. So our entire playbook of train professionals in India who already have a certain amount of knowledge, experience, and skill, train them to get international opportunities. That has worked across a lot of sectors and have proven out, our hypothesis has proven. So we are very excited about that. Not only that, at the time of the IPO, we really did not think that we can sell our courses that we are selling in India. We can sell the same courses almost with no changes in other countries, especially very interesting countries like USA, UK, Canada. And to think that somebody sitting in Gurgaon will be teaching data science to people in New York was a little, even for us, non-digestible. Or that somebody from India will teach lawyers in UK how to clear solicitor qualification exam. These things were a little undigestible even for us. But now it is happening, and we are seeing no resistance. We thought that, oh, people in those countries, we may not want to be taught by Indians. Maybe there will be an accent problem. Maybe there will be some, we are seeing no problems. Like they are okay. They are absolutely fine. They just want high quality courses, high quality teaching, high quality services. If you give that, they don't say, oh, how can an Indian teach me all these things? There is no, this is only in our own thinking and psyche. There is no real problem. And also, we are able to charge a lot more money. I have never seen so little resistance in any market. Normally, in every market, we had to fight our way. It feels very different when you're going into US. It's like there's no challenge at all. Like people are like, take our money, almost like that. So very different than selling in India. In India, we have to fight ki, they'll be like, acha, I think, can you give me 5,000 rupees discount? Acha, if I buy during Diwali, will it be different? But in US, absolutely not like that. If they understand the value proposition, they are like, oh, it's so cheap, it's great. I mean, obviously, compared to what it would be in their country, we are charging much less. But for us, we are charging double, triple of what we will charge in India, and there is no resistance. It's incredible. So these are three things we have done, I think, pretty well, or got lucky, whatever you feel. But yes, so 5 things that we are now very excited about. Okay, so one is that scaling up our sales team. If you have attended our con calls and etc., we keep talking about that we have cracked a lot of products, but the hard part is that how do we sell more of those products? And one of that very interesting thing, and we looked at a lot of other companies also in the industry and realized that what they do better than us is scaling up a sales team. How to scale up a sales team? So we have been really learning a lot about that, how to scale a inside sales team, and I think we have certain things have started working. So our revenue from outgoing calls, right, has really jumped a lot, more than doubled over the last 6 months. And main reason is that we have been able to scale up our sales team, right? So you can see the numbers on the screen. I don't want to repeat, like we had, how many callers we had at the time of IPO, and currently how many we have, right? So but it's increasing. We wish it increased even faster. But the main constraint there is how productive our sales academy can be. So we realized that we need a formal sales academy where people will come, get trained. If they make mistakes, they'll be corrected. They have to be taken on live calls as observers. They have to do mock calls, and a lot of work is there. There is one part is training them for product. The other part is giving them sales training, like sales skills. And product training has also become more complicated because earlier we had fewer product only law. Now we have so many categories. So in each category you have to create expert trainers. And see, it's basically a simple thing. If say you are selling a data science course to an engineer, if you don't understand data science yourself, at least a bit, or what is, okay, let's say you are selling US accounting course to somebody who knows Tally in India. You're telling them you learn this software and you learn US GAAP and these skills, and then you can get a job in the US, or even EY or Big Four will hire you if you know US work, and you can earn more. Okay, now that if you tell it to a person, they'll have many questions. How, what exactly will I learn? And they will have technical questions. If my salesperson cannot explain, the sales call will fail then and there. And if I am able to, but so basically I have to train that salesperson a lot. Now there are two things. There are very few salespersons who are willing to learn so much. They're like, इतना ही करना तो मैं ही accountant बन जाता, मैं ही data scientist बन जाता, मैं sales क्यों करूँ फिर? Then this is one problem. Then if they learn, it is possible they might leave because all of that. So, you have to really get the right kind of balance, hiring, training, and all of that is quite a challenging thing, but it's very worthwhile because once you are able to train somebody and they are ready to stick on to the job. Actually, we never found that a salesperson absolutely fails unless they give up and run away. A lot of people run away. In the first 3 months, 50-60% people may go away, saying that mere se nahi hoga. But the people who stay on 6 months, they will be phenomenal and they'll do like great revenue every month. So it's a lot about that mindset also. In sales, that's the biggest thing. So obviously finding those people and training and retaining them is a big challenge, and we have made some progress, but we are also learning a lot. For example, we never understood the importance of a sales leader. Who's a sales leader? There is somebody who's calling. There is somebody who's, let's say, a team leader who's closing or helping them. Do you really need a sales leader? Now we realize that importance of a sales leader. If you don't have a sales leader, you can't scale a sales team. Oh my God, 5 minutes left. I have to run through stuff very fast. Okay. So anyway, so I think we'll just jump. So other things we are working on. Okay, one thing I had talked about is sales this thing, right? So sales academy is one thing. Then we are working on our Developed countries, we are getting much higher ARPU, and it is still to be discovered till where we can reach. Then we have launched a healthcare education segment, and this is very high potential. So one thing is that people working remotely from India to other countries for SMEs, etc. But even more interesting is people who can migrate there. And there are certain categories where there is a huge demand for Indian skilled talent. They are ready to pay, let's say you are earning 6 lakh rupees in India per year. You can get 50 lakh rupees salary in Canada or Australia or Germany or US or UK. And we identified primarily 2 categories. One is healthcare, one is engineering. And we started working in both these categories, and we are getting great traction here. We are not focusing on revenue here. We are trying to establish the value chain, and we want to start making money next financial year in these categories. Then obviously there's another thing that we started, and we are struggling with this. It's doing well, but not as well as we hoped, which is auto funnels. Like auto funnels, I don't want to explain. It's a long concept. I have been given ultimatum already. So then there is, we have, community-driven sales, right? So community-driven sales is a very exciting area for us. We are really seeing a lot of higher conversion rate. Lead to conversion rate is much higher in community sales. So that will also drive growth for us this year in the coming years. So where do you really want to be by 27, 28 financial year? Okay. So we see our India core sales, which is last year was 65 crores. We think this will become 150 crores. That is what we are trying to do. That's what we are aiming at. That's what we are fighting to do. On the other hand, we believe that our international core sales, which is much smaller right now, 12 crore is an assumption. We haven't done 12 crores yet in this category, but let's say 1 crore per month kind of run rate. So we think that we can do 100 crore conservatively by that kind of time. This is what we are going after. Services sales and services export is a very critical thing for us. So what we are trying to do is actually, if we do 150 crore course sales in India, we want to give 75 crores back to our students in form of freelance work. If we can do that, then we will be absolute unassailable competitive advantage. So we want to do 100 crore of services export. This is imperative. This is not something we just want to do. It will create huge competitive advantage for us if we can pull it off. So we are trying to do reach about 100 crore of services export in different categories, mainly in law, finance, and marketing. These are the 3 categories we are aiming at. And finally, we think we can do another 100 crore of revenue in international manpower supply. So especially engineering and healthcare. These are the 2 categories. Challenges to solve. What are the 9 areas which we need to crack in the next 6 months? These are very critical to do well in. One is that scaling our technology team. We have, if I had more time, I could explain in detail, and I will share this presentation. It is self-explanatory, so you will be reading more about that. But we are very excited about scaling our sales team. It is already doing well, but it is not scaling as fast as we hoped for. So we are working on some new strategies which involve like acquiring tech teams in other jurisdictions also. Acquisition is a key strategy for us. There are a bunch of interesting areas where we want to do acquisitions. Expanding our sales academy, of course. Okay, my time is up. I can take question and answer, and we'll. I can run a few more slides as there. Should I? Huh?
Just run it fast.
Okay, cool. So this trick works always. I say, okay, fine, I'll stop. And then they give me more time. Thank you. So what happens is that, just to honor the time commitment, so I'll run this through quickly. Definitely, one thing about M&As we realized, we have to do it in such a way that the entrepreneurs who build the business still there remain in the game and not look at as a possible exit, because we don't want to run the business, we want them to continue to run. And that's something that we need to work a lot on, and it's not an easy thing. It's very difficult to do that. We own the business, but they see themselves as owner and continue to grow it. Can be very tricky. That's something for us to learn. Also, the challenge that we are seeing is that our team is growing very fast, right? So, and we work remotely. If you didn't know, it may come as a shocker, but we 700 people working remotely. We expect to under another 300 people by the end of the year. Now, how do we keep our culture intact? Because we used to function in a certain way. Now, so many outsiders coming so fast, how do you keep that together, right? You make sure that is a big challenge for us. Then, obviously, scaling placements as fast as sales. We are seeing a peculiar problem. Earlier, more people used to come and say, give me job, give me internship, and now everybody's like, we don't want job, we don't want internships, give us freelance work. Now this is more difficult, and we need to work a lot on this. I have, by the way, my co-founders Priyanka and Komal here, so they are laughing, sitting there. Okay, so, yeah, thank you. Okay.
I think all the presentations will be put up, we share with the stock exchanges, so all that is there. So we can open for Q&A, but the first question should not be what are the factors that keep you awake at night.
Can I call my co-founder?
Yes, please, come. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Right. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, we were recently, we talked about acquisitions and we recently raised some funds as well. So could you tell us the purpose of raising that fund? First question is that. And second question is, we were also working on, developing our app for job opportunities, the freelance work we mentioned. So how far have we gone, along that?
So should I get a mic or something?
You can speak from here.
Sir is guarding the mic with his life. So, okay, so to quickly answer your question. So first question is about why we raised money through warrants, correct? So I had it on the slides, but basically, so we have a view that, so I'll tell you, this is a small story. So 2022, much before the IPO, right? So I found a Switzerland university. They were in distress, okay, and it had a fully accredited university, and they wanted to sell it for 700,000 euros. And I did not have I had the money, the 700,000 euros I had. Then I realized to take this company and run it because it's loss making, I need at least $2 million for the next 2 years. And I thought that this will stress my balance sheet too much, and I did not acquire. Now it's one of the biggest regrets I have. Because if I had the university today, all these courses I have, I could sell even much faster in those countries, and I could give people MBA degree, Master of Science degree, fully accredited Swiss degrees, right? I could have charged like 5 times more than what I'm charging today. Now I don't want. Now we know that there may be a recession in the US after the US election, right? So those things happen. I don't want to be sitting like that. Again, I don't have money to buy some university, or let's say there's a really interesting legal tech company or a really interesting ed tech company which is not able to raise VC money because VCs are themselves not able to raise money. So if such a thing happens, I don't want to miss the opportunity again. That's the primary reason.
So has that company been acquired now? Yes. Has that company been acquired, the Swiss company you mentioned, the university?
I don't know, it's not acquired. How will it went away? Like somebody, it shut down.
Achha.
It's gone.
Okay. And the second question was about the app development for job opportunities.
So we haven't even started developing it. We have a PRD, we have hired a team. But what we realized is that we need a differential. There are really big players like Upwork and Fiverr in that space, and they're really good at what they do. So if we are going there, we cannot go to a gunfight with knives. So how we have to go about it? Number one, our strategy is to acquire, for example, let's say CPA firms in US, and we are getting them really cheap. Or can I acquire a digital marketing firm in UK and use it as a bridgehead to have higher trust, and then use it to seed a platform. So we are working on it, but it's probably we have some time. We don't need it to double our revenue the way we are doing. So it will come into play in the next 2 years. We are at a very early stage of it.
Right. Last question.
Yes, sir.
So I think 2 questions. One is, do you have any plans to open something for kids?
Kids? Kids को US भेज दे. Not yet. So we want, I think that, see, I mean, I think I just don't have the instinct for that market yet. We have no plans, and I mean, it might someday if we get the right partners, right people who understand that market, maybe. But generally, I am very excited about the professional market, like above age of 30, 40 people. I believe people still want to learn and can do so much. And I see that space to be so big that, and I do not have a natural understanding of kids as to what that education will look like.
Right. And the second question is, of course, we all know about Upgrad, and they work in a slightly different space, but will there be an entry barrier for them to come to the space that you are working on?
Very interesting that you ask. Once upon a time, they wanted to acquire us. And the reason we first started to thinking of raising money because they were coming into our space in law. And they did very well in law degree space, that university tie-up thing, and we didn't do well there. But on the other hand, they actually tried to come into legal upskilling space exactly, and they exited the space after some time. So my best guess is that didn't work. The moat that you are asking about is an ecosystem. So what happens is that if I only offer courses, that's one thing. But if I offer courses with placements and freelance work, and I also have a job platform in that space, I also have a blog that everybody reads while they're growing up in college. They also make their project from there. So it's like you try to get into more and more places, and all of those systems together make it very hard to overcome that resistance for an out. If somebody has to build all of those machinery to actually compete effectively.
So one follow-up question on that. I think since in the online space, one of the biggest challenges is to protect your IP because you are basically online.
We faced
so what do you do that? I mean, how do you plan to protect it?
So the first time I built an online course, much before Lawsico, etc., like in 2011-12, what happened the first year we did very good. Very good is like 10 lakh revenue, let's say. Next year we did 50,000. You know why? Because somebody took the course, made it freely available, emailed it to their friends, and it spread everywhere. And then we realized that content is not defensible. You cannot sell. So that is, we realized that you cannot be in content or information business. Even if you build a great course, somebody can take it and just sell it or just make it free on Instagram or whatever, YouTube, right? Now what we sell is not information. We sell a career outcome. That is much more than information. One is that yes, there is curated information, but everybody knows, or at least we have access to information how to be fit. But how many of us are actually fit? For that I need support of a coach, somebody to guide us, and somebody to push us, somebody to hold us accountable, somebody to tell us the right thing at the right time. That's what we are selling. Because nobody will pay 50,000 rupees for PDF and videos and quiz, or even maybe a certification, right? You want more than that. So you want somebody to hold you accountable, somebody to give you a customized roadmap, somebody to tell you, okay, you are not able to do this, let us try a different approach. Maybe this will work, and work with you. So that's the thing that we are selling in our courses. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. So I just have one question. Government, I think, has recently approved students to pursue simultaneous degrees.
Sure.
So while they're doing their bachelor's. So like when they're doing BTech, they can also pursue bachelor's in law or something.
Yes.
Like that. So is Lawsico trying to capitalize on this opportunity?
So we are not offering degrees as such. And degrees are like very regulated. And degrees are like, can be offered only by universities. Setting up a university in India, number one, is expensive. Secondly, extremely regulatory. Like we can't do what we are doing if we had a university. Such courses will not be allowed. Because you have to follow certain UGC norms and blah, blah, blah. So which is also our regulatory advantage also, that we can do it this way.
Just one last thing. So also, I think these days course curation also has become much easier because of AI.
Sure.
So do you think...
information and content creation, yes. But see, just think about it, that everybody has the same maths book in school. Everybody has the same maths videos on YouTube. But they still need a private tutor, somebody to come and coach them and guide them and push them and make sure they pass. Why? It is human nature. AI is not going to solve this. You still need human beings to come and push you in the right direction.
Next, last question, Umesh Gupta.
Hi, so I'll keep it quick. So you're looking at 250 crore turnover at, by FY 27-28, right?
450.
450. Okay. So what could be your peak margins, and is there any peak margin you have in your mind beyond which you will want to invest in the business, or you'll let the margins run as high as possible?
So I think 25% profit before tax is what is very much doable over time, and that's where we want to do. But we have been prioritizing growth till now. We have never maximized our profits or optimized our business for profits. We feel that it's such a exciting space, such a big space that we should go for. But 25% PBT we feel is very healthy, and we should aim for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Give a warm round of applause to Addictive. We got very good investors in the audience. I'll request them. I think Varun. Varun going to come up. I think he came. He just stood for you. Sahil Sharma. Sahil is there. Pritesh Vora. Zafar Bhai is there. So I'll request these guys to come on stage.